Right now, we've crossed a threshold most businesses haven't fully clocked yet. Up to 90% of online content is now estimated to be AI generated or AI assisted. Anyone can generate 1,000 blog posts, social captions, or ad variations within an hour. But something strange is also happening at the same time. Content volume has exploded, traffic numbers look bigger than ever, and yet many businesses are seeing less trust and fewer conversions. So what's going on? In this episode, we're unpacking what I call the Content Pollution Index, which is the widening conversion gap from first view of your product or service to sale, and why human judgment is becoming the most valuable marketing skill again. Because when content becomes infinite, something else becomes scarce: credibility and expertise. In actual fact, when content becomes infinite, credibility becomes the strategy. Welcome to the Digital Success for Business podcast. I'm Leanne Cohens, founder of Marketing Leap, and for over 13 years, I have helped businesses navigate the shifts in how people discover, trust, and choose brands online. In this episode, we're looking at what AI will and won't do for your marketing long term, and why human strategy, clarity, and credibility are becoming more valuable than ever. Right now, we're living through what many analysts call the synthetic internet. Experts predicted years ago that by 2026, up to 90% of online content would be AI generated or AI assisted. We're not approaching that threshold anymore, we're living in it, which means the barrier to producing content has effectively dropped to zero. Back in the Yellow Pages era, if you bought a full-page ad, it signaled something very simple. You were real, you were established, and you had skin in the game. You had invested something meaningful to be there. Even in the social era, which started in 2015, people still researched and connected with people. Today, anyone can generate 1,000 articles, ads, or social posts in an afternoon. And that's where the real shift hits small businesses. Because when content becomes unlimited, being human becomes the differentiator. Your audience and people searching are asking, who is actually behind the business? Have they done the work that they're talking about? Or do they understand the problems that I'm trying to solve? Or is this just another piece of automated noise? And this is the moment a lot of business owners are starting to feel but can't quite explain. You're posting more, you're publishing more, maybe you're even using AI tools to keep up, but the results aren't increasing at the same pace. Trust isn't growing the way it used to because the internet has quietly moved from content shortage to a credibility shortage. And that's exactly where the work that we do at Marketing Leap comes in. For the past 13 years, we've helped businesses build marketing that actually reflects their real expertise. Not just content for the sake of content, but messaging, positioning, and strategy that shows people why they should trust you. Because producing content is no longer the challenge. Any tool can do that. The real challenge is producing marketing that clearly shows you are a real business with real experience, solving real problems for real people. That's what cuts through the noise. And many business owners are seeing the same pattern. Traffic is up, impressions are up, but sales are flat. In fact, I talked about this in my previous episode when we discussed what happens when humans are no longer the majority online. And this is what I call the conversion gap, the space between activity and actual human intent, which is the moment a real person is actively trying to solve a problem and not just casually browsing. They're looking for a solution. And when that intent turns into action, whether it's a call, an inquiry, a booking, or even a purchase, that's what we call an intent-based conversion. The problem is that those conversions are quietly declining. Research shows that while ad reach has increased, intent-based conversions, people looking for an actual solution, and buying for small business, has dropped by roughly 30% in recent years. Why? Because the internet has become noisier. Bots trigger tracking pixels, automation inflates impressions, and some platforms now have as much as 8 to 24% invalid traffic, depending on the network. Globally, nearly $63 billion in ad spend is lost every year to invalid traffic. So if you're paying for reach without filtering for human intent, you're not always buying attention. Sometimes you're just paying to power a bot server. And this is where things get confusing for small business owners, because the numbers can look healthy on the surface. Your analytics show visits, your ads show reach, your dashboard shows impressions, but that doesn't necessarily mean that real people are behind those numbers. Bots crawl websites, AI systems interact with content, automation triggers engagement signals that look legitimate inside reporting tools. So you're doing the work, you're posting the content, you're running the ads, you're investing time and money, but the results don't quite line up with the effort. And that's often the moment the businesses assume that something is wrong with their marketing. In many cases, the real issue is that the data itself has become noisier, which is why strategy, and more importantly, understanding your target market, matters more than ever. Because if you don't have a system for separating signal from noise, it's incredibly easy to optimize the wrong things. You end up chasing impressions instead of intent, clicks instead of customers. And at Marketing Leap, this is one of the biggest conversations we're having with clients right now. Not just how to drive traffic, but how to understand which traffic actually represents real people with a real problem that you can solve. Because growth doesn't come from activity, it comes from human intent. It comes from understanding what your buyers are actually struggling with, what problem they're trying to fix, and why your product or service is the solution. That's the part that AI can't invent for you. It can generate content, it can analyze patterns, but it can't replace the insight that comes from truly understanding the people you serve. And that's where strategy still wins, because traffic doesn't grow a business, human intent does. Having run businesses and marketed them since the Yellow Pages era, and yes, proud Gen Xer here, I've watched the industry evolve through 3 very distinct phases. The first was the directory era. Back then, visibility required investment. If you wanted to be seen, you bought a Yellow Pages ad, directory, or even a newspaper ad, a larger listing, a full-page ad, a premium category placement. The barrier to entry was high enough that simply being there signaled legitimacy. Then came the social media era around 2015. Visibility shifted from investment to activity. Suddenly, every business could publish, advertise, and be seen. Facebook pages, Instagram posts, blogs, ads, videos. The more consistently you showed up, the more visible you became. But now, we've entered the synthetic era. Visibility no longer comes from spending the most money or posting the most content. It comes from credibility. The barriers to entry have effectively disappeared. Anyone can publish, anyone can advertise, anyone can generate content automatically, including AI. They even have their own social media platform, language, and even religion. I kid you not. Which means trust can no longer be outsourced to platforms. It has to be demonstrated. People want to know who is actually behind the business, whether you understand their problem, and whether your experience is real. And this is exactly why our work at Marketing Leap focuses less on chasing platforms and more on building credible marketing systems. Systems where your content, messaging, proof, and positioning reinforce each other wherever someone encounters your brand. And that's whether it's search, social media, AI-generated answers, reviews, or referrals. Because while the technology keeps changing, the goal hasn't. You still need to be the signal in the static. You still need to understand your client's needs and how you solve their problems, and you still need to be the authority and the expert. So what do you actually do with all of this? If we're living in a world where bots are everywhere and content is unlimited, how do you make sure your marketing is still reaching real people? There's a few simple things that you can start doing right now. First, show up as a real human. Use video, use your voice. Let people see who is actually behind the business. In a world full of automated content, simply showing your face and explaining something clearly can cut through faster than another AI-written post. There's a reason Reels and short-form video do so well on social media. And believe me, people are researching there now, and they are buying direct from the social platforms. Second, share real experience. Talk about the work you've actually done, the problems you've solved, the mistakes you've seen clients make, and how you fix them. Real examples and real stories build trust far faster than generic advice. Then third, build visible proof around your business. Reviews, testimonials, conversations, clients sharing their experience. Those signals tell people that real humans have worked with you and have had a good outcome. And then fourth, make your message clear. If someone lands on your website, your LinkedIn page, or your content anywhere, they should immediately understand what you do, who you help, and why they should trust you. Clear positioning beats clever marketing every single time. And then fifth, don't forget the power of real-world connections. Referrals, partnerships, events, even things like direct mail are becoming powerful again, precisely because they are human. This is exactly the kind of work that we do with businesses at Marketing Leap. Not just creating more content, but helping business owners build marketing systems that send the right signals to the right people. Because right now, the businesses that win aren't the ones producing the most noise. They're the ones sending the clearest signals. Because bots can create content, but only humans create trust. So let's zoom out for a minute. We're living in a world where most content isn't human. Traffic numbers are increasingly distorted, and visibility alone doesn't guarantee trust. But that doesn't mean that marketing is broken. It simply means that the rules have shifted. Again. From yellow pages to social media to now synthetic. The businesses that grow over the next decade won't be the ones producing the most content. They'll be the ones producing the clearest signals. And by that, I mean marketing that makes three things obvious the minute someone finds you: who you help, what problem you solve, and why someone should trust you to solve it. Signals that show real experience, signals that build genuine trust, and signals that make it easy for real people to choose you instead of the other dozens of other options online, which is the work that we do at Marketing Leap. We help businesses cut through the noise, build credible marketing systems, and turn visibility into real human decisions. So if you want help doing that, head over to marketingleap.net and book a strategy session. Let's turn your marketing back into something that humans actually respond to. And before you go, make sure you've subscribed on your favorite streaming platform, because in the next episode, we're shifting gears a little and looking at the other side of this conversation. In the next episode, we're talking from tool to teammate, 3 AI workflows that save small businesses 7+ hours a week, and how AI can actually help business owners get time back instead of creating more noise. We'll look at the founder bottleneck, that moment where everything important in your business still lives in your head, because if it only lives in your head, that's where the growth stops. I'll show you how to use simple AI workflows to turn your expertise into usable systems. Things like dictating your ideas and turning them into structured copy in minutes. How building your own email list and CRM data is becoming one of the most valuable marketing assets you can own, and how AI can help you spot customer needs earlier before they turn into problems. So if you want to learn how to use AI as a teammate instead of just another tool, make sure you join me for the next episode. We'll see you then. Thanks for tuning in to the Digital Success for Business podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on YouTube for even more tips.